their cardio, they're doing all that stuff, but that's not where the real race is. Everybody's doing that. The real race is up here. Mm-hmm. So, that's why your question is great about unblocking. You have to unblock yourself. You have to write, I am unblocked. I am completely, you have to prime yourself. Just like the person running the race has a hypnotist. This is what the United States Olympic thing is. They have a hypnotist, and everybody sits in a room, and they say, you're at the starting line. You're completely relaxed. Mm-hmm. There are no barriers. You're at your prime. You're at your peak. You know, they go through every step. The gun goes off, and your heart rate is just fine. And you come out of the blocks with the best start you've ever had. You know what I'm saying? They do this like it sounds like juju or brainwashing, but the mind doesn't know the difference. Your mind doesn't know the difference between reality and imagining. Mm-hmm. It doesn't. Okay. So when you prime your mind that way, eventually, when I'm at Times Square, New Year's Eve, and the balls drop in and it's cold as hell, mm-hmm. I'm not tripping. Hit it, boys. You know? Mm-hmm. Because I prime myself for that. I'm not like, I'm sorry, I can't go, I can't do it. 2 million people on television. I can't do it. It's not that. It's like, okay, let's get on with it, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Write yourself into what you want to actualize. It's called self-actualization. You write yourself into whatever character. I mean, that's what Ziggy Stardust, David Bowie did, mm-hmm. you know? Like, you create whatever character you want to be. And you design. You design that. Your artistry, you design that. That's up to you. It's a proactive thing. So,
beautiful.
The best
Thank
way
you.
to do it is with a pen and a pad.
Right on.
Yeah, I don't want to be
more than some water. Okay. Anyway, my question is,
he's
also
amazing.
on high school, because I know the story, the background story with Kara Klein's daddy, you know, Kara Klein, you know, and their son, and how he went through that whole thing with Marcellus.
Okay.
And then at the new school, and I look at where you are now, and where those folks, we don't even know who these folks are, but they were given the stature that they didn't want to give you, because I think of you as being the next Miles Davis, or even better, because of the way you play the trumpet, and I've had the great privilege of performing with you on numerous occasions. So, in terms of resiliency, what, and you've already kind of alluded to it through this conversation,
right?
But what kept you going, knowing that in high school they were saying, we're going to promote the white boy, and you know you have the talent. Then you go to college, and the daddy of the white boy is one of the teachers, right? And then here went Marcellus, who should be passing the baton and being your mentor, basically is going to, once again, mentor the white boy and not you. Because didn't he tell you move too much or something? Yeah. So that's the question.
I mean, I feel as though, like, back to the idea of productivity. You know, like, it's all mental. So all these things can either tear you down or they can make you stronger. And you have to choose. Am I going to am I going to tear myself down by this? Or am I going to become stronger? It's your choice, really. You can choose either way. Like, okay, am I going to become stronger? Who wants to be weak? Who wants to be whacked? You know, I'm going to go the rack route. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go the other route. Right? And I think that's important because it is a choice. It's not out of your control. Mm-hmm. So it's really a mind trick. I think a major part of getting to that point is of resilience is letting go. You know, there's a lot of things. Oh, Mom, I remember when my mom did this or did that or did this or did that. Or I remember when my teacher was favoring this other kid and he should have favored me too. You know, or I remember when this guy got that and I didn't get this. I think a lot of that stuff, to move forward, you just got to let it go. Don't think about that. Focus on what it is you want to do. Focus on your journey. Focus on your path. Focus your thoughts. And don't be distracted by the collective consciousness trying to tell you that you're inadequate. Nelson Mandela, he said, you do nobody any favors, you know, dim your light just to help others, to make others feel that they're better, you know. As you let your light shine, you allow others to do the same. And I think that's a major thing. So it's all in, it's the way you feel, your personal sense of joy, your personal sense of pride, your personal sense of self is your decision. And don't get distracted by the distractions. Because that's all they are, distractions. It's like, hey, look over here. It's like you're getting to the finish line and somebody's like, oh, over here, look. And then somebody passes you up. Don't get distracted. Just keep on trucking. Does that make sense? Very much so. Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Oh, hi. I play trumpet. I haven't
Really?
practiced in the last couple of years. So
She doesn't play trumpet.
But he doesn't know that.
When I was younger, especially in high school. And so I was wondering what your favorite scale is to play.
The major scale. All 12 of them. I feel like if you master your major scale, you know all your minor scales.
Right.
Because all your minor scales are a major scale started on a major note.
Right.
If you master your major scale, then if you truly master it, you master all your chords, because all a chord is every other note. If you master your major scale, you master progressions, because all progressions are numeric succession of what note in the major scale you're headed to. So it's 3, 2, 5, 1, which in the key of C would be E, D, G, C, right? So if you master your major scale, it gives you a wealth of knowledge and understanding about everything you're doing in music. It's the most efficient scale to master. There's a difference between knowing it and knowing it. Yeah. Everything is difficult to master. It's difficult to master just walking. To master walking, it's difficult to master talking. It's difficult to master cooking. It's difficult to master teaching. It's difficult to master it in itself. You know? So just because you know something doesn't mean you've mastered it. But once you've mastered it, you're dealing in a different area of knowledge. You know? I'll go with a girl.
I was curious if you talked about hip hop earlier. Someone once told me that when in like the 90s with Wu-Tang and Biggie and Tupac and all the the golden era of hip hop is referred to quite often because it was all about storytelling of the stories that weren't being told in mainstream media.
Yeah.
And then we reverted from that. And someone also said that they can see that we're going back to the golden era of storytelling and hip hop of stories that are important that are not being told. Do you agree with that?
I mean, that's an interesting point. I haven't really heard that. Like, for me, a lot of the critics say, we wish we could go back to the golden era, you know? I think people like Kendrick, obviously, swimming pools, incredible story, you know? I think people are playing with more than just storytelling. They're playing with triggers of fascination. They're playing with a lot of devices and techniques to capture the listener's attention. going back to the golden era? It could be, because everything has a cycle. You know, jazz had its age where jazz was innovative. It was new. Nobody heard it before. You know, it was like, even funk had it. It was like, what's this music with the congas and the bass lines and the horns and the, you know, we've never heard this. And then it got to a point where people were just regurgitating something. So that does make sense. Like, we're going back to the golden era. Now in jazz, you go to a college, you go to a high school, and there's jazz class. So it's like we're getting back to the golden era of jazz. You know, it's becoming a museum piece. Is that good? You know, if hip hop's doing the same thing, I think when hip hop gets back to the golden age, there's going to be hip hop class, not hip hop history, but hip hop class, where it's like working on your rhymes, working on your flows, and, you know, studying how to flip samples, and it'll be like something that's no longer, well, it's still an art form, but it'll be also more of a craft, a formula. You know, so when you go back to the golden era, I mean, the golden era happened organically. You know, it wasn't like, you know, we're going to go back. There's this thing called the golden era, and that's where we head to. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that. It was just like, bam, golden era is happening. What, you know? So, for me, I feel like that's just a natural progression of music. It gets to a point where people dogmatize it. You know, it becomes dogma. This is how you flow. This is how you flip samples. This is how you produce beats. This is how you become like a formula. But I don't think that's the point. I think another thing besides inclusivity about the black experience in black music is innovation. So part of that is doing something different, doing something new, doing something that comes out of the necessities, the greatest usher of innovation. You know? So those are my thoughts on that. But do I think we're headed back to a golden era? We probably will be. Trends come around. You know, the 70s happened again. You know, I'm about to bring the 70s back. So golden era is next. You know what I'm saying? Kegels. You know what I'm saying? It's coming. And you already see cats with like, because it's not about just music. It's about fashion. You know, have you seen those glasses? Cats have those square glasses. Yeah, it's coming back. It is. You know, Adidas sweatsuits. You know.
I'll be able to do the robot again.
And then I'm gonna get to you. You can go to the next to. Okay.
Who are the main musicians that you look up to that inspire you to be a musician or a singer? Do you have any?
The musicians that I look up to. I don't really look up to musicians like, oh, I look up to you so much. I just think I try to learn from all musicians. You know, I try to learn, and not just from musicians. I try to learn from my daughter. Incredible musician. I'm like, is this how? Tell me, give me the cosign, please. Can I figure this out? And she tells me whether it's hot or not, whether she likes the song, whether she likes the hook, but you know. So for me, it's not about, but if you want to get 100%, 100, should I keep it 100?
Yeah.
I would say Quincy Jones,
Yeah.
Fela, and like a synergy between Fela and Quincy Jones. Because I think there's a beauty in what Quincy Jones did. He was a trumpet player, but he was a conductor. And there was a beauty in what Fela did. He was a saxophone player, but he was a band leader. He was a conductor. And that's something that, like, Miles made a great point. You know, people would say Miles is playing with his back to the audience. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, imagine, like, an artist comes on stage, and you guys clap, he's like, but Miles Davis would say Beethoven did the same thing. Mozart did the same thing. Whenever has a conductor like been into the audience, like it's like the band behind it, they're like, no, it doesn't happen. Conductor goes like this, and you go like that. I think there's a certain nobility to that. I like that. And also for his social messaging. I love Quincy Jones for the fact that there is no greater musician, or you'll find nobody else who's made a greater impact than Quincy Jones. You might find somebody who's come close or even equal, but you won't find anybody who's made a greater impact. I think that's a beautiful thing. Nobody can say, oh, I know this other dude that's higher than Quincy Jones. No, you don't. This other dude who sold more albums than Quincy. No, you don't. I know this other dude that's more Grammys than. Get out of here. Anybody else who's touching Quincy Jones? And if you can marry those two, like the social commentary, and if you can marry like being able to match anybody on planet Earth at their game, you know, when it comes to your craft, I respect that. I think that's dope. So I look up to that.
Right on.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with the narcissist or not. You're out.
Oh, narcissist. You're talking about a group.
Group.
Oh, no.
Okay, so they are they're responsible